about to depart for another journey. We're happy to have you with us on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We're going to be talking about yet another debate, this time by the Democrats. And with the dropping out of O'Malley, there was only slithery Clinton and Bernie together Sanders. I don't know about you folks, but I'm getting sick of this debate stuff because it's the same old boring dish served up even colder than the one before it. It's really ridiculous. I mean, how many times can you reinvent the wheel and it not come out working eloquently as a round one? We've seen far too much of these people. Last night's debate was pretty good as far as the moderators. They weren't totally outlandish. The young lady, her name escapes me, but she did a pretty fair job of shooting the tough questions to old slithery Clinton, who still slithers out of that speech salary that she, or should I say that bloated speech salary that she's been making with Goldman Sachs and others, to the tune of $600,000. Now, you know, I don't care who you are. I'm not going to pay $600,000 to hear you talk. I don't care what you're talking about, you know. But, you know, the crooked rich get crookeder and richer. Sanders was classic together, but it's stale, and they need to stop it. They're talking about adding more debates on the Democratic side to try to even things out with the Republicans, but I think it's overkill. I'm sick of looking at slithery Clinton and her lies and her shifty, creepy way of just blowing things off that are really important that people would like to know. First of all, she shouldn't be up there as a presidential candidate anyway, her being embroiled in so much scandal and so much problematic situations that she's been in. That deal with Benghazi where, those American citizens were killed, that would disqualify her in my book. And then not to mention all of this other crapola that she's involved in. And she claims that, oh, well, I went there and I stayed for 11 hours and I answered all their questions and they tried to get me, but they couldn't, maybe they're not trying hard enough because the evidence is more than apparent that you are a crook, slithery. And, I think it should go. So I'm not even going to waste too much time on it today. They're in New Hampshire now preparing for the New Hampshire elections or what have you, or primaries. And what's going to come of it now? There's only two Democrats running, and that's old Slithery and Bernie Sanders. And on the Republican side, it's a mess because, you've gotten 3 people dropped out already with Huckabee, Santorum, and what's his face? Oh, Little Rand, Paul, dropped out.
O'Malley.
O'Malley for the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And then this thing going back now with Cruz and Trump. And, it's just, it's a mess. It's a bloody mess. I think that there was something going on. They lied and said that Ben Carson had dropped out, and the man had no intentions of dropping out. So, it's getting to be more ugly than it was at first. Heaven knows what we're going to come down to by the time it's actually Super Tuesday, and then moving on into the actual conventions and what have you. All of these people need to, start looking at what's going on with the country and weighing in on that instead of so much craziness. Americans don't have time for it. We don't want it. We're looking for solutions to problems. That TPP crap is on us, and it's got to be ratified by the various nations, but it's a travesty. If O'Bastard has his hands on it, then it's a travesty. This guy is scum, and everybody knows that. Before we go on and close this out, I think the exec had something to say about slithery Clinton.
I just found 2 points, or 2 happenings, I guess I should say, that didn't really throw me off, but made me see how much worse of a person she is and how her judgment shouldn't be trusted in the first place, which we already know. The first point was that she was talking about something that Obama had done, and she said that he was a responsible president, to which I literally said, ha, out loud in rejection of that statement. And the second one being, one of the moderators asked her, did she see Bernie Sanders as a president? I didn't hear her response. It might have been no. It was very quick. And then the second question was, do you see Bernie Sanders as a vice president? And she just laughed out loud, ha 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 ha, like the joke was funnier than why did the skeleton cross the road, because he had no guts. And then a few seconds later says something to the effect of, Bernie Sanders is the first person I'll go to. Well, if you support him for any kind of questions or help with anything, then why did you laugh basically in his face like that? Like it was a hilarious thing to see him to be a vice president. That didn't make any sense to me, but she doesn't make any sense anyway.
That's the thing that gets me, Chris, is the hypocrisy of it all. And I mean, this is not like kind of far away hypocrisy. This is right up, slap you in the face upside your head hypocrisy. Because they'll get out there and they'll rip each other to shreds. And I think we alluded to this in another show. And then at the end, they're patting each other on the back and shaking hands like they're old buddies. I said, wasn't that this carcass you ripped to shreds just minutes before? I mean, come on. American politics is a joke in and of itself.
It always has been a brutal act.
It's ridiculous. And this thing now is just a show. And before I close it out, I will say I was very disappointed in the Democratic and the Republican debates in this vein. You always have to go around hunting for them. Now, the Democrats had been, up until last night, pretty good at being on the regular channels on telly so that you could find them. But this going around trying to find the things on the internet, they post one time that it's going to be shown at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then you come to find out when you tune in, it's already been over because they've shown it earlier or later, or, they can't seem to get that together. We are voting, or at least supposed to be voting, for the next leader of this nation. If you could put car chases and forest fires and all that kind of stuff, well, forest fires I can understand because that's important. People have to know to get out of the way of the blazes and what have you. But if you can put a stupid car chase on and keep that on for 3 hours and just no commercials, just car chase, and you can't put on the debates or whatever is needed for our next leader, what is wrong with you people in the news media? I know you're news whores, but even whores have an ounce of brain sometime. But you guys are just stupid idiots. You don't put what America really needs on telly so that we can, make our decisions, but you'll put something nonsensical on there. Idiots abound. We thank you for joining us again for the show and going on this crazy political journey with us. And just like to extend many thanks to all of our friends out there who, have been giving us well wishes and comments and giving us ideas like Landon Hurt, Oscar Hildebrand, and a few others. Thank you so much. We appreciate doing the show, and we appreciate doing the show based upon your inspirations. And we invite you to keep that coming. In this crazy, crazy world, this crazy society where nothing should surprise you, try to maintain a little bit of your happiness, take care, and stay safe. And we'll see you next time right here on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Bye-bye.